Well, Donald Trump saved some of his brash comments until after the debate. He really lashed out at a group of Ohio voters. 23 Republicans monitored the debate with Republican strategist and CBS News contributor Frank Luntz. They were often very critical of Trump, and the candidate was quick to respond on Twitter. Trump wrote, "Frank Luntz, your so-called focus groups are a total joke. Don't come to my office looking for business again. You are a clown." Well, Frank Luntz joined CBS this morning to address Trump's tough talk.
I've been called a lot of things in my life, but I've never been called a clown, and those focus groups are accurate. What do you say when you won't guarantee to support the Republican nominee, when you call women some pretty horrific names, when you insult the moderator of the debate, when you don't answer questions specifically, when you can't even explain why you went bankrupt? I have to tell you, this was an amazing debate performance. Not amazing because it was effective, amazing because I saw the destruction of a presidential campaign over those 2 hours. It really was remarkable.
Well, I want to see some of the results from your focus group. First, of course, the first question that the moderators asked Donald Trump was on that question about whether he would have pledged not to run as an independent. Let's watch.
Raise your hand now if you won't make that pledge tonight. Mr. Trump. So, Mr. Trump, to be clear, you're standing on a Republican primary debate.
I fully understand.
You're not going to make the pledge tonight.
I will not make the pledge at this time.
Okay.
We heard the crowd in the arena act negatively. Also, your focus group?
Yeah, these are partisan Republicans, as they should be in a primary debate. By the way, number one, I actually like Donald Trump. As a person, he's fun to be around. As a businessman, our group unanimously said that they would hire him to run a business if they owned one. But when you're talking about a Republican presidential nomination, when these people want to defeat Hillary Clinton, that's not the language, that's not the strategy, that's just not what they want to hear.
Frank, let me make sure I understood what you said. We saw last night, did I hear you say, the destruction of a candidacy?
The destruction of a candidacy. I thought that Trump had the capability, because of his presentation, because of his persona, to take it up to 30, 35%. I saw this with Ross Perot, and Trump has many of the similar characteristics. Now, make no mistake, his popularity may even go up slightly, but the negativity around him, because in the end, you still have to be liked by a majority of Republicans to get the nomination. What I saw yesterday was the beginning of hostility that I haven't seen towards a presidential candidate. Trump was the #1 person walking into that debate. Almost all of his supporters abandoned him because of what he said.
But there was such an interesting moment from your dial research involving women. This is a candidate who's really had a history of some misogynistic statements, which is why I think what happened with those dials right after he made comments about women were so fascinating. So first, let's listen to that clip, and then we want to hear what your response is to it.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't. And how will you answer the charge from Hillary Clinton, who is likely to be the Democratic nominee, that you are part of the war on women?
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
I don't think that second dial really surprised that many people, but the first one was surprising. Why do you think people connected with that?
Because Republicans don't like Rosie O'Donnell. She was very famous in her hostility towards guns and hostility towards the NRA. Remember, this audience is a Republican audience, and they are reacting to Republican language, Republican rhetoric from Republican candidates. So you take a shot at Rosie O'Donnell, they like it, and they hate political correctness. So I want to be fair. Donald Trump had good elements last night. But when he would not guarantee that he was supporting the Republican nominee, when he could not answer those 4 bankruptcies, that was too much for a number of his supporters and too much for the group overall.